It's not just guests that do dumb things at theme parks. Sometimes, so do the employees, and I've had my share. Eh. Yes, I've talked a lot about the dumb things guests have done and the silly questions they've asked and stuff like that, but as a theme park employee, I'm not immune. I have definitely had my moments where I have also done dumb, silly, and just plain stupid things. And it's happened at all of the jobs I've had. At Busch Gardens, I've already told the stories of my two real big blunders, where I hit the rock while driving near the elephant pen, as well as when I had the wreck backstage and got to spend a week driving around in circles behind the scenes. Yeah. Look for those videos if you want to know about those. That's probably my two biggest ones at Busch Gardens. And other than that, just normal silliness on it. So I've already kind of revealed my depths of my blunders there. At Disney, I had my moments as well. One of the things I am is slightly directionally challenged sometimes. And I would have times that I would get directions to go to a certain place and I'd end up going to someplace entirely different. When we had 3 different shooting rooms at Toontown, I would walk into a room, look at the photographers, knowing who I'm supposed to break, and go, "They're not here. Oh, wrong room." And walk out and go where I was supposed to go. I had a couple times, even though I walked the utilidors at Magic Kingdom, I still got myself lost occasionally in there. It was really bad if somebody was waiting for a break, and here I am just twirling around going, "Sorry, I'm late. I forgot where I was." Those were probably my biggest things at Disney. Honestly, maybe it's the passage of time, but I don't remember that many times at Disney really doing something dumb where I just kind of stood there and went, "Hi, I'm a doofus." Batteries dying on flash units where the characters would have to tell me, "Hey, your flash isn't working." We actually had a sign for that from the characters because it would happen often enough. The characters would do this, and that was basically our hint that, "Oh, hey, by the way, your flash isn't working. You might want to check it, fix the batteries." Or I would get messages occasionally or somebody coming up, "Your metadata's wrong." In other words, on my little PDA, I hadn't updated the location or what I was shooting, which meant I had it labeled wrong, and then when it would go to our quality assurance, that's one of the things they screened, was to make sure the information on the photo was right so it could be found, and then they'd send a message, "Hey, goober, get your stuff right, fix it." Okay, they never called me a goober, but you could just feel it, because I know when I worked QA a couple times, that was kind of what you're thinking. Hello? Oops. But really, for the most part at Disney, I don't remember doing anything terribly dumb. I have vague memories of falling one time. Now, with all the camera gear and stuff, we actually got drilled in training that if you fall and protect your camera. In other words, fall so you hit your back, so that way the camera doesn't crash, because we had a couple $1,000s worth of gear that we were carrying around. And I seem to vaguely remember falling one time, tripping like I do, but I don't remember any damage to camera or gear or to myself. And so it's just kind of this vague, hazy thing. Probably something where I kind of fell, rolled a little bit, popped up and went, "Hey, I'm good," and kept going. But I honestly can't say anything specific because I don't remember it. Well, there was the one time I fell on stage shooting pictures of Mickey when I ended up with cancer, but that was a whole different thing. I was in too much pain to be embarrassed at that point. But it's funny that at Disney, there really isn't any standout moments. I'm sure my coworkers could probably fill in a couple, and there are some that watch, so they might. But nothing at all like stuff I would do when I was visiting the parks. Like the time that my kids and I were running around on Tom Sawyer Island goofing off, and I decided to run away from them and get away in the pirate cave, and I'm tearing down the hall, they're trying to chase me, and the halls, of course, twist and turn, and I took a left when I should have taken a right, and went smack into that wall. Bounced off like something in the cartoons. And you could hear my kids howling with laughter in the cave, but that was more when I was visiting. I don't really remember doing anything quite that dumb when I was working. Maybe that's a good thing. Silver Dollar City, though, seemed to be the place that if there was a way to put my foot in my mouth or to make a fool of myself unintentionally or to do something that just left me embarrassed, Silver Dollar City really seemed to be where it was. And my coworkers loved that because any way that they could roast me, they would. It started even early on. It was probably my second week out there, third week, and maybe a little later. But I was out robbing trains with my boss, and we're having a good time and apparently put on a really good show because somebody actually took some paper money. I think it might have been a $5, and they tossed it off the train as they were leaving. And I remember, oh, cool, it was great, and I wanted to make a big show of getting it, and I started to go down the hill after the money, running towards a moving train. And of course I'm a klutz, and my boss is going, no, what are you doing? Don't kill yourself for that. I kind of had to stop and go, oh yeah, running towards a moving train is probably not a real smart thing to do, especially when you're going downhill to do it and can roll right. Kind of set the tone for my career there because my boss was just like, oh, this is going to be a good one. And actually, it's a good thing I didn't finish that chase because there were a number of times out there I just fell flat on my face. Quite literally. As Ralphie coming up from the front of the train when you get caught, the conductor's chasing up the hill, and it's all wood chips. And I would wear work boots or something like that, get slick, and I would slip and fall, and I did a number of face plants. I did face plants coming up the stairs from the train. I did a couple of those wonderful little cartoon-like keister drops, where you're going down the stairs and your foot goes out from under you, straight up in the air, and he's like, sit down. Ow! Yeah, that happened. Face planting on wood chips is not good because it means your hands also hit, so you get wood chips in your hands and splinters and trying to protect your face. Yeah, one time I had a piece of wood get me real good. Just being a klutz out in something like that isn't always good. That wasn't the only place I fell. I fell coming off the back of the train a couple times. As a conductor, the train stops and then you jump off the back to head out. And I had a couple times trying to climb down. I just missed the step and whoop, right down there. Thankfully, that one the people on the train didn't really see, but the robbers sure would. And oh yes, I would hear it from them. Somehow in all that, though, I never really got hurt with all those falls. No, the injuries actually came from people throwing things at me. But I would have other flub-ups, too. Probably my worst in front of a guest was one time that I had a standard routine that when people would ask what the flooded mine was, which we got all the time because it was next door, that I would say it's a nice, gentle, calm boat ride where you sit in the boat and you shoot at the targets. And in this one case, my tongue just overlapped sit and shoot and kind of combined them, and I said it in a way I really didn't mean to say, and right after I said it, I was like, so you do this, and oh my goodness, that's not what I meant to say. I'm sorry. The guest that asked and the other guests around were laughing, thankfully. It's always good when that happens. I will never forget, as I'm sitting there trying to apologize for cursing unintentionally, the guest looks at me and says, well, at least it's not like you're a preacher or anything. Well, yeah, about that. Yes, sometimes even preachers slip that way. It wasn't an intentional one, though, I promise. There were times I would get left just utterly speechless, though. You have those moments where your brain just, shuts off and quits. In the middle of a show, you're doing the robbery scene, and all of a sudden you forget what the line is, and you're like... And there were a few times I just got really good at making stupid faces at the train because I couldn't remember and waiting for somebody to kickstart the memory. And I learned that if you make stupid faces in certain ways at the people, they don't realize you forgot the line. They just laugh because you're just being dumb. That's a good point. Uh-huh. You learn to play it off. But what was really bad, I was having some fun out there. Rick was the conductor and I was Alfie Boland. And this was one of the times, this was actually very near the end of my deal, where I decided to throw out the pirate show. Arr, matey, we stopped your land schooner to warn ye. And I do the whole show in pirate speak. Warn me? About what? Pirates! Up around the bend, you got 9 of the slimiest, barniest, crusted pirates you've ever done seen. And I did this whole lead in and everything with Rick conducting. And Rick starts to walk away. You know, there haven't been any pirates around here ever. And I went blank. Here I am, I'm throwing out this whole unscripted show, doing my own thing, and I completely forgot where I was supposed to go with it. And he's walking away, I'm like, yeah, there's no pirates here. See you later. Yeah. Rick is actually laughing when he turns around and saves my hide and throws out another line. Hey, remember you're supposed to go here? Oh, yeah, duh. One of those times, okay, watch this. I'm going to get the conductor good. Oh, look, I got myself instead. Oh, yeah. Rick definitely had some fun razzing me for that, even as he was pulling out. So, do you know who you are now? Yeah, thanks, Rick. Shut up. Yes, forgotten lines, blown lines would happen, even if you had done the show hundreds of times. We would start the intro spiel and you'd occasionally forget it, especially if there was some technical glitch or something. Thankfully, that didn't happen very often, but it seemed like if there was somebody that was going to get stymied and stand there going, I don't know what I'm doing or what I'm supposed to say, it was me. And of course, I would have people that would love to do things from the train too that would embarrass me. They would try, at least. If Friends and Family Row, they were always trying to add something in. Probably the one that really left me flustered and just not quite sure what to say. My family was writing one time. My mom and stepfather were out there. And as we're finishing up the show, my mother yells out, "That's my boy!" Thanks, Ma. I'm sure that there were a number of other times I made fool of myself as well, but those are the ones that stand out as all the slips and trips and stumbles and falls and the missed lines and the time staying there going, yeah, really, I'm the guy you want to trust to do this. Thankfully, for the most part, outside of what my co-workers did to me at Silver Dollar City, I was saved from a lot of public humiliation. Most of it has just kind of slipped, which means it wasn't that big a deal. The amazing thing is, at the time when you do something, you often think it's a bigger deal than it really is, and you're saying that kind of, oh my, mortified that I just did this. And then you realize a couple months later, what was it? I don't know. I completely forgot what I was embarrassed about. That's the good thing, is it does pass, especially when you learn to laugh at it. So have you seen employees do ridiculous, silly things sometimes, accidentally? Were you an employee and forgot and just made a fool of yourself? I would love to hear your stories. Please share them in the comments below. Be sure to check the description. Tons of information there. Thank you as well to my patrons, to my supporters. Y'all mean so much to me, and I couldn't do this without you. I also want to give a huge shout out to my brand new patron, Nia Tihonen. I hope I said that right. As well as my new member on YouTube, Matthew Weatherby. Thank you so incredibly much for signing up. Y'all have blessed me, and they help me to do what I do. If you want to know more about that, check the description below as well. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless. I think that's the restaurant in Norway. Yeah, okay. At Disney, I had my moments as... Okay, bad pause. There were times I would just get left utterly speech. Yeah. If you'd like to know about my merchandise, contact information, fan pages, and more, be sure to check the description below. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of my videos, hit that button right there to subscribe. And if you want to see another one, well, I've got a great video for you right here. If you'd like to be like these wonderful people here too, and support me financially on Patreon or YouTube, well, hit that little button right there. It'll even give you behind-the-scenes access and more perks. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless.